Everyone heard the gunfire before they saw her fall, but none of them expected the medic he'd just shot to be the one who'd saved his son's life 2 months earlier. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. It was a bright, searing afternoon at the northern outpost, a place where heat and pride always clashed harder than bullets. Dust hung in the air like judgment, and silence spread right after the fifth shot. The soldiers froze, their rifles half raised, eyes flicking between the fallen woman and the man who pulled the trigger. General Harlan Keats, a man whose arrogance was as infamous as his medals. Corporal Lena Rowe lay on the ground, her medic's patch catching the sunlight, 5 dark blooms staining her uniform. Yet her eyes were still open, still focused, still alive. "Get back," the general barked, sweat glistening on his forehead. But none of the soldiers moved, not one. Captain Torres, the youngest officer in the unit, clenched his fists. "Sir, she's unarmed." Harlan's jaw twitched. She disobeyed a direct order. But everyone knew the truth. She hadn't disobeyed. She'd refused to leave a civilian boy trapped under debris during the evacuation. She'd risked her life to save him, while the general barked commands from a safe distance. And now, because she had spoken up, because she dared to question him, he'd silenced her. Torres dropped to his knees beside her, feeling for a pulse. The general's gun still trembled in his hand. Around them, the camp was silent, except for the slow, uneven sound of Lena's breathing. "She's alive," Torres whispered. The general's expression faltered. Just for a moment, he looked down at the woman bleeding in the dust, and for the first time in his career, the soldiers saw uncertainty in his eyes. "She won't make it," he muttered. But his voice cracked on the last word. Torres looked up at him. "You want to bet on that, sir?" The words cut through the silence like a blade. 2 medics rushed forward, lifting Lena carefully onto a stretcher. Her lips moved weakly. One word escaped: "Son." No one understood what she meant. Not until a chopper landed 3 hours later. The man who stepped out wore the same insignia as the general. His gait was steady, his eyes hard, but when he saw Lena, his composure shattered. It was Lieutenant Aaron Keats, the general's only son. He pushed past everyone, dropping beside her. "Lena, you're supposed to be resting," he whispered, voice breaking. The general's face went pale. You know her?" Aaron turned toward him, fury and disbelief flashing across his face. "She saved my life in the border raid. The only reason I'm standing here, Father, is because of her." The words echoed through the camp like thunder. Every soldier stood still, watching as the general's authority cracked, layer by layer, until only a trembling old man remained beneath the uniform. Lena's eyes fluttered open. Her voice was faint but clear. "It's not his fault. Pride makes people blind." Then she slipped into unconsciousness. For the first time in years, General Harlan Keats knelt, not in command, but in regret. He followed the medics to the field tent, his medals clinking softly with each hesitant step. 3 days later, Lena opened her eyes to see him sitting beside her bed. His uniform was gone, replaced with a plain white shirt. He spoke quietly, almost to himself. "I was supposed to teach men to be brave. You reminded me what that really means." She smiled faintly. "Then start teaching again, sir. But this time, from the heart." The general retired a month later, and when the base renamed its medical wing, it wasn't after him, it was after her. The Rowe Medical Unit, for courage beyond command. Because courage isn't about pulling the trigger, it's about stopping the pain it causes. And sometimes, the strongest soldiers are the ones who heal, not harm. Before you scroll, tell me, what would you have done in that moment? I read every comment myself. And if stories of courage like this move you, make sure to subscribe, because more untold truths are coming soon. Because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. And somewhere under that blinding sun, the dust still remembers the day a medic changed what courage meant forever.